This is 2 Minutes About Time with Luke Allen and Robert E.G. Black, the podcast that takes a look at the film About Time 2 minutes at a time. I am Richard Curtis, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you don't, well, you can just travel back in time 2 minutes and listen to something else.
I'm one of your hosts, Luke Allen. I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Robert E.G. Black.
Hello.
And our special guest for this week, Andy J.
Hello.
So, today, we're looking at minute 100 of About Time.
Nice round number.
The big 100. And, you know, can we just leave it here? Just, it's not dead yet. We'll finish the show. Anyway, so Tim says, there's another secret. Less dramatic, much more important.
Wait, is that what he says?
Well, not the stumble. No. But the secret is less dramatic, much more important. The real mothership. Which, I feel like the line, the mothership, I always think is at the start, when he says, wow, massive, to Tim's, when Tim says he's going to use it to get a girlfriend, and his dad says, wow, massive. For some reason, I always think he says the real mothership then. So this is, I guess, where that confusion came from.
That would have been a good callback. That would have been good.
Unless it's one of those weird trailer things, because the trailer is... Oh, I hate the trailer. There's lines in the trailer that aren't in the film. They spoil, like, the entire plot in the trailer.
Yeah.
The dad's death is in the trailer. It's just... Oh.
Yeah, that's bad. That's very bad.
So I don't have anything to send to people when I tell them to watch About Time, because I'm like, don't watch the trailer.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll have to make my own trailer.
Oh, do it.
So, less dramatic, much more important, the real mothership. No, go on, tell me. Let's save some time. I like how we don't see the dad telling.
Yes.
Like, I think it's a really good decision.
Yeah, because I think it's good because the dad is telling his son, and then the son is telling us.
Yeah.
Like, obviously Tim has been the kind of, you know, main plot that we've been following. So I think it's good that from his experiences that we've been living with him, he now gets to pass on that mothership to us.
This could even be Tim telling this story to Jeff, his son.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. But yeah, I think it's important that we didn't hear it from the dad. And it also means that it's almost like the two characters were having that moment without us.
Yeah.
Because it was so important. They were having that moment together. Truly just the two of them without the fly on the wall of us watching them.
Right, an odd comparison, possibly disturbing comparison. They do the same with the sex scene.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's an intimate moment, and so we see the before and after. We don't see the thing. I know it's a weird thing to compare.
Well, this moment is also the movie being kind of coy, too, because Tim says, let's save some time, and then the movie saves some time by skipping the dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get the shot, right, of them leaving the house.
Yes.
The mum's in the car, but they're saying goodbye to the dad.
Yes. I was just going to drive them to the train station.
Did they not drive down?
Well, no, they were walking up the driveway, so they didn't drive.
Okay.
Yeah, they could have gotten a taxi.
And also, Kit Kat is not leaving with them.
I don't think you'd trust Kit Kat to drive you, though.
She might not even have a car right now.
Oh, yeah. That purple car. Okay, that makes more
took a
sense,
bit of
but
damage.
I feel like there's enough seats in the car for the dad to come too. It's just...
I get it. That's weird.
Would you
want to?
want
the emotional goodbye at the station if you don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. You'd leave the dad at home, do the emotional goodbye at your house, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they can go from there.
Okay. It was only in my mind as to spend as much time with him as possible, but I guess that would be a hard way to spend the end of your life. Like, being the dad, that would be weird.
Yeah.
And admittedly weirder later on for the dad, the fact that he has to see at random points of his life his son going back to see him after he's dead. He's like, I've come back from the funeral, or, this is the last time I'm going to get to see. That wait to just be not able to tell anyone, my son just told me I'm dead. Like, it's just,
Well, yes, so not only does he know he's dying, he knows when. He knows that Tim will know, and Tim will take advantage of it. His life has become kind of unstuck from the regular.
There's a similar thing in Time Traveler's Wife, but I think there's stuff in Time Traveler's Wife, but I don't want to talk about it in case our listeners haven't seen it before. Because it's just, and Robert, you've only seen it once, right?
Yes, although I did also read the thing it's based on, the book.
Oh, okay. I forgot there was a book.
I think it's a short story. I remember it not being very long.
Yeah, I didn't know that was based on...
Well, I'll decide to either keep it in or not, because Andy, I assume you've seen Time Traveller's Wife, right?
I've seen it once, many years ago.
Spoiler warning for Time Traveller's Wife. Well, there's a thing in there with the kid. They see their kid older when Rich McAdams is pregnant with the child, and the kid says that her dad died when she was 5.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's just reminding me of that. I don't know whether I'll keep this in or not. I could just put a little spoiler warning or something. In fact, just in case I forget to, I'm too bored to re-record me saying spoiler warning, I'll say it now and edit it back. So, there's another secret. Tim says, and so he told me his secret formula for happiness. Part 1 of the 2-part plan was that I should just get on with ordinary life, living it day by day like anyone else.
Mm-hmm. That is maybe the best piece of advice that anybody could give anybody for anything. Whether you're a time traveller or just going through a hard time or whatever, just that's the best bit of advice. Just get on with ordinary life, living it day by day like everybody else.
Okay, so they say it's like we just got the dialogue of while he's in the office. Okay, you got more?
Before they leave, Mary sets her bag on the ground. She goes back to hug Dad, and he turns away. Like, he sees her coming, he turns away from her, but then turns back just in time for her to hug him. It's really nice.
Is that done?
He doesn't want to live in that moment of being hugged, but he'll let her hug him.
Yeah.
And then Mum is already starting the car.
I love how involved Mary is in their family thing, because I feel like there could have been real tension, because we don't see much of her parents. Right. They have the wedding reception at his parents' house.
Mm.
They seem to be constantly meeting up, although clearly not that much, but it feels like, they've got that close relationship where, I don't know, I'd imagine it could have been quite a difficult thing for Mary. And I find it weird that I'm giving credit to someone who doesn't exist, but it works really well, and it's the only thing that came to me as a recent thought.
But then if you think from like an emotional point of view, it seems like her parents aren't like her. She's very different to her parents, so I think she
ran away from them, supposedly, I guess. If she's gone off to live, we don't know why, but she's gone off to live in London. They're still in America. She's got a house which is all over the place decoration-wise.
Yeah.
It's like she's just left to rebel.
Yeah. And her way of dressing and her way of doing interior design in her place very much mimics how Tim's family home is anyway. So it kind of makes sense that she'd... Yeah.
The apartment she had by herself, no, but this one.
No.
Nothing matched in the apartment she had for herself. In fact, the fact that nothing matched started to match.
Yeah.
It worked quite well. It was like so messy that it looped back and became tidy again.
So yeah, I think she became part of the family very, very easily, which is why I think she, potentially took James's death as hard as, well, not as hard, but harder than you might expect the wife of, the daughter-in-law to take it.
So Tim's now at work, and we hear just the muttered dialogue that's not really
at the non-existent Queen's Yard Chambers is where he works.
I was just reading that, yeah.
It's on the binders. But the only Queen's Yard business I could find in London is accountants, not lawyers. Although they could work there. It could be an accounting place. They need lawyers too, I suppose.
It's not Comic Sans, that font, is it?
On the labels? I don't think so.
Yeah.
They are bad labels, though, because those boxes have the business name really big, but have no clear label of what the contents are. Of printed sheets for boxes. You don't do that.
No.
The mutter dialogue is just, this is our current statement with a revised paragraph there, highlighted. And then we have, Rupert, is that the best you can do? I got, reading that line before looking at the clip, I was like, is Rupert back? Did I forget this? Did we get more Rupert? But no, it's a shame. I want more Rupert.
I like the scene in the office. I really like the scene in the office because it really is showing that if stuff might not be done the best way all the time, it's kind of showing life in light of how it would be if you were to take the first lesson that James was saying into account. Mm-hmm. And obviously jumping forward a little bit when he goes and relives that day, it is definitely just showing that like very kind of real office life in that your colleague is getting berated by your boss and you're just kind of sitting quietly and just kind of letting it fly, which is obviously very different later on. But Yeah, I like that they did that. They took that first lesson and then showed Office in a realistic situation.
Yeah, so to our listeners, we definitely got a lot to talk about next week with him reliving the day, and a bonus episode all about the music that's featured next week. So nice. You're in for a good load of stuff. Anyhow, yeah. So the rest of the minute, no, absolutely not. We can change that. Item number 2, and that's it really. Yeah.
Tim cringes, and we cut to Tim at location I'll talk about next week.
I've got a quick note about this location, just because I think I might forget it next week. Even though we'd actually see her in this scene, but I'm going to say it just in case I forget. The woman working in that cafe or shop or wherever it is, right?
Yeah.
She's just a woman who served Richard in a cafe when they were filming in Cornwall, and so he just invited her to be in the film because he thought that she had the perfect mannerisms.
That's really cool. That's
so,
really cool.
Richard, if you're making a film and you got some podcasters as characters, then
so with minute 100, there's nothing else. I wish we could go on to the second lesson, but
I mean, you could talk a bit about it. We can't, but you can.
No, it's all right. I'll leave it for the next guest. It's fine.
Okay, so Andy, we sent you a bonus minute.
You did a good one as well.
I always forget what bonus minute I've sent, so I'm looking forward to you telling me what I've sent, and me probably being happy that I chose a good one.
It's a really good one, considering the minutes that we've covered in my few episodes. It's James's speech at their wedding.
Oh yes. Now I'm scared I double booked because I feel I sent that to one of our upcoming guests as well. Whoops.
No, don't say that because it's so good.
Yeah. Which part of the speech did I send you actually? The first bit.
The one where he goes, the one where he goes back and tells about the three guys he's loved in his life, and it's the good speech that he does rather than the bad one. But yes, it's shall I just jump into it?
We've already talked about
covered
it,
so it's on you.
Okay, cool, that's fine. So there's two main things I took from this. One, going back to, I can't remember if it was this episode or the last episode, I spoke about dealing with the whole dad-death thing.
Yeah.
But I don't have a super close relationship with my dad. But he said in the speech that he's not proud of many things in his life, that he's proud of his son. And that got me super emotional, and I love that because that's all I think anyway, or at least that's what I strive for. But as a son, you strive for your dad to be proud of you. Like, that's all I ever wanted or want from my parents, especially my dad, just to be proud of me and for him to say that he's proud of me. And then the second thing was, try and marry someone kind, which is, definitely was my go-to when I was deciding who to marry. That was literally the only thing that
Robert, Ewan's ruined this for me.
Why?
Just like, I mean, I still like it, but Ewan, who we had on, was the only person who hated on this film. And he was just going on about how, like, the entire dad's speech is like he's written things out that he's read in greeting cards. It's just...
Sure.
But I think that's
fine.
Are,
yeah. They are quite hallmarky, for sure. And it does mirror that thing with Desmond as well, with him saying to Desmond that he's one of only 3 men that he's ever loved in his life. And then obviously that moment ended up being the moment that Desmond then remembered when they were all gathering at the house for his dad.
I mean, what do you think with the one issue I have with this, which is such a minor issue, but the one issue I have with this was that Tim's telling us the story. How does he know that this happened?
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting
I mean, I guess his dad
point.
could have just told him. It could have been a thing that his dad mentioned to him at some point. It seems like something that would come up. He'd be like, I went back at your wedding, updated my speech.
Yeah. Or maybe taking into account your theory of time travel not existing in this film.
Yeah.
It could have just been either Tim was hoping or thinking that his dad should have said this, or that his dad, do you know what I mean? Like, it was just in Tim's head rather than something
he imagined what his father was going to say and then was surprised when his father said he loved him.
Yes, that, going, Dad's probably going to say this,
you know what I just
and
thought
then
of,
he actually
though,
says the nice thing.
Given the idea that there's no time travel, all of these speeches happened Potentially.
Oh, yeah.
Or Tim thought about what Rory might say and it's like, no. Thought about what Jay might say and said no. Or they all happened and he's like, I don't want to think about those.
In this bonus minute, those 2 points that I said, James being proud, saying out loud that he's not proud of many things, but he is proud of Tim, and also trying to marry someone kind. That's pretty much the only 2 things I took away from that minute, even though there were a lot about kind of jokey, those kind of quick-witted dialogue moments. I think at the beginning of that minute he says,
Tim's
I can tell you about... many failings as a man,
and as a table tennis player.
Yes, But I think those were all overshadowed by those things for me. I really liked those kind of emotional pulls at, again, his and Tim's.
To be fair to Ewan, are trite, but to be fair to you, are true. So.
Yes, yeah.
So, Andy, if you could go back in time to any point in your life to either relive it or change something about it, what moment in your life would that be? So the listeners don't know, Andy is looking very excited and prepared at this point.
Well, okay, so I was thinking about this. I put way too much thought into answering this question, and I thought, okay, what's my gut instinct, right? What's my gut instinct answer to that question? If I had to say one thing, what would it be straight away? And if I had to go back and change one thing, it would be going back to when I left school, when I left sixth form. I would have just gained this much more confidence and self-belief. I would have chased something because I was lost for so long when I left school. There was absolutely no path to go down. I had no idea what I was doing for years. So I wish I'd have just left school and just been like, I'm going to try and make something of myself. I'm just going to go and meet as many people and be as happy as I can and do that. So that was my gut instinct. But then I was like, if I could really go back in time, for real, if someone was like, you're actually going back in time and changing something, what would I change? And it would be absolutely nothing, because I love my life. I love my life so much. I'm the happiest I've ever been. And if I did anything differently at any point, I might not be here. And
weirdly, you're only the second person to have said that. I expected everyone to give that answer who's seen this film. But we only had someone like the other week say it. Was it Kate who said it, Robert? Or was it someone else? I can't remember. Yeah. So literally 2 weeks in a row, this has been, the answer has been nothing. And up till this point, people have looked at it differently. So that's great. And thanks for giving us the other answer as well. It was good. So, have you anything specific to promote?
I will, at this point, have a new book coming out next month called Serving Suggestions, and you can go to tinystupidmortals.co.uk to check it out. Anybody that is local to me in the southwest England area, I also have a live show. If social distancing is okay with it, I will have a live show going out at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. But you can keep up to date with everything at Tiny Stupid Mortals. Buy the book, buy tickets to stuff. It's super fun and it's a good laugh, so you can find me there.
Yeah, so you're Andy Hayden J on Instagram and your shows and all of that stuff. Robert, where can the listeners find
Robert
you?
E.G. Black on social media and lemmingdrops.com for links to podcasts, blog.
Of that short film that you said.
Oh, the Korean thing?
You sent. Yeah, but the Korean kind of, but it seemed good and interesting, and I didn't realise that you were also in the film.
Yeah.
So that was, If I knew Korean, I'm sure I'd find it all the more fascinating. And the listeners can find me on Twitter at llama_bottle0, Instagram at GingerLuke, Facebook at Luke Allen Film. All podcasts, radio appearances, newspaper articles, short films are all at lukeallen.co.uk. This show is on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at 2 Mins About Time. They can also join our Facebook group, The Cupboard, to discuss all things to do with About Time, the podcast, tangents, what guests you hate. Tell us all this stuff. I've made that guess you hate joke several times, but I like saying it, and I'm waiting for someone to eventually do it. No, they'll just say us, Robert. So I'm just looking once again at these rhyming animal themed.
Oh yes, I googled some. Can I do one? Yes. Can I do one to sign off my last episode?
That's even better.
Let me get them back up again, because you threw me with it. I said there'd be surprises in here, and you got me. And I don't know which one you've already got, so I'm gonna do Hit the Road, Silly Toad.
Nice.
We haven't done that one. That's good. Well, thanks so much for joining us this week, Andrew.
Thank you for having me. You've put love for this film in my heart, and I'm going to watch this far more often. I love this. It's great.
The 2 Minutes About Time theme is performed by Ethan O'Mahony and is a cover of the About Time theme originally composed by Nick Laird-Close. 2 Minutes About Time is a production of Lemming Drop Studios in association with Bottle O Productions.